beginning, I wanted to focus my research on my passion for health and child development. It was during my initial background research that I came across an article which mentioned that polyunsaturated fatty acids may be a better approach to treatment of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. My teachers were always mentioning the importance of approaching the research with an open mind. As my research project progressed, I began to understand why. As the depth of my understanding grew, my focus began to change. I sought out interviews with experts such as nutritionists, including those who specialised in ADHD, a psychologist who was very much opposed to treatments other than drugs, and a food scientist. Key findings began to emerge. I got to understand that polyunsaturated fatty acids are divided into two main groups, omega-3 and omega-6, and the balance of consumption has been greatly affected by a modern Western diet. On average, 17 times more omega-6 is consumed than it should be. This became a crucial finding to my research, as omega-6 causes brain inflammation, which is problematic for children with ADHD. I discovered that children experiencing rapid neurological development throughout the last trimester of pregnancy and first 2 years of life. During this time, it is crucial that a child receives adequate omega-3 in their diet, particularly omega-3 DHA, as DHA increases nerve cell membrane flexibility, assisting the release of neurotransmitters responsible for neurological development and function. If DHA deficient, a child's brain is unable to effectively release the neurotransmitter dopamine, which is responsible for focusing attention and controlling behaviour. As these are two key symptoms of ADHD, it is suggested that DHA deficiency increases the likelihood of developing ADHD symptoms. As I began to synthesize my key findings, I realized that what had begun as an investigation into the neurological development of children had become an important public health issue. I discovered that there is insufficient understanding of and education on the importance of omega-3 for neurological development, along with the most beneficial quantity to consume. Additionally, the cost of omega-3 rich products, such as salmon and walnuts, may result in certain socioeconomic groups having a higher risk of developing omega-3 deficiency and consequently ADHD. Meeting the challenge of being resourceful was not only beneficial to my research project, but also my development as a researcher. During my research project, I interviewed 9 different specialists in person, over the phone, on Skype, through email, including accredited practicing dietitians, clinical psychologists, pharmacists and food scientists. I wrote 5 different letters to ADHD organisations, forums and various primary school newsletter committees in order to locate willing parents of children with ADHD to participate in my survey. I also undertook action research, as explained before. These skills were all new to me, as up until this year, my education had never called for me to use them. Furthermore, the research project was unlike any subject I'd ever done before. Rather than just learning information, I learnt to become a researcher. Through secondary analysis, I learned how to differentiate between sources to identify credibility and bias. Through sending interview requests, arranging appointments, and formulating relevant interview questions, I learned how to appropriately communicate with professionals from all over the world. Through surveying the families of children with ADHD, I learned how multidimensional ethics really is. I learnt the importance of approaching people sensitively, with the utmost care, respecting their confidentiality and not pushing questions which they did not feel comfortable answering. I learnt that their needs and rights always came before my desire for information. I also learnt how to identify and respond to both challenges and opportunities, a skill I practiced throughout my research project and hope to continue practicing in all life experiences. Moreover, I learnt that an informed person can have a powerful voice in society and take steps to influence change. I feel that I have become an omega-3 activist. The passion I developed for my topic encouraged me to send my outcome to the South Australian Minister for Education and Child Development, Jennifer Rankin, South Australian ADHD organisations and the prenatal and maternity sections of the Women's and Children's, Ashford, Burnside and Calvary hospitals. I hope to highlight to them the importance of endorsing education on omega-3 in order to prevent a deficiency and enhance neurological development. When I received a reply from the Parent Education Coordinator at the Women's and Children's Hospital with the final comment, "Keep spreading the word," I was excited to learn that my outcome addresses a current and very public health issue. Perhaps the most relevant skill I learnt through completing the research project was being able to identify what I needed to learn and methods to learn it. Not studying chemistry, nutrition or psychology was a problem I faced, as knowledge of aspects of these topics was needed to fully comprehend my research and develop key ideas. To bring my research together, I was required to have a comprehensive understanding of the neurotransmitter and drug form of dopamine, the importance of neural cell membrane flexibility, the chemical composition of omega-3 molecules, and which areas of the brain relates to symptoms of ADHD. Did those words go in one ear and out the other? If so, you know exactly how I felt initially. But now I can proudly say that I used a number of resources and taught myself exactly what I needed to know. This is an important form of learning that the research project has brought to students. My learning was just in time, rather than just in case. The research project allows for the development of skills to obtain the knowledge you need when you need it. This is an important skill and thinking process, which is useful in not just the research project, but every aspect of life. I also became more capable in many ways. For example, my outcome contained a large quantity of complex chemistry and physiology, which may have formed a potential barrier to my intended audience, which included mothers and families. I was required to develop my critical and creative thinking capability to find a way to get the message across. I learned to use unfamiliar computer programs in order to convert scientific concepts into easy-to-understand diagrams, which I believed enhanced my outcome and assisted the reader's ability to comprehend key concepts. I discovered that information is not always readily available to you, and it's important to have the skills to go out and get it. I learned that the best interviews are the ones you approached armed with knowledge and an open mind. Being knowledgeable about the topic gives you confidence to look for information or links to previous information, and also allows you to politely challenge and question experts in order to really develop and synthesize key findings. The research project was a truly rewarding subject. I enjoyed that it is flexible, allowing me to control what I wanted to research, how I wanted to undertake the research, and how I wanted to present it. Researching a topic of your choice is motivating and allows for the development of a passion, which consequently drives you to step out of your comfort zone and do your best. It was wonderful to meet and cooperate with a range of professionals from all around the world who are eager to assist and genuinely excited when they find out a 17-year-old student shares their passion. However, most of all, it is empowering to know that the research project is our own. We undertook the research, we analysed and synthesised the information gathered, and we formulated the conclusions. Our research projects don't reword someone else's findings, they express our own findings. As a student, this is a powerful set of skills to develop and an invaluable feeling. Thank you.